City residents must clear their sidewalks from snow and ice.
We really value free people reading freely and invest in those resources.
Ohio State upsets second-ranked Iowa on the road.
The temperature looks to be warming up this week.
All that and more coming up on this Monday morning edition of DITV News.
Don't go anywhere. DITV News starts right now.
Good morning and thank you for tuning in live to DITV and KRUI 89.7 FM.
I'm AJ Reister.
And I'm Ashley Wheel. Starting today, Iowa City is requiring residents to clear their sidewalks of ice and snow. Within a day of 1 inch or more of snowfall, sidewalks must be cleared. Iowa City Gov says property owners are responsible for their own sidewalks, and renters need to check their leases on whether the renter or the landlord is responsible. Uncleared icy or snowy sidewalks can be reported on icgov.org. After 24 hours, the sidewalk will be cleared and the property owner will be billed a contractor's costs and $100 fee. Now, we did get some more snow Friday night, but I'm hoping that the snow is starting to melt a little bit and we can kind of take a break from the harsh cold and snowy days we've been having.
I would really appreciate that, Ashley. All this snow, it's getting into my shoes, and the squeaky noise when everyone's walking into class, it's killing me.
The squeak is awful right now, but we have DITV's Hannah Lipsky live outside right now with an update on today's weather forecast.
Yeah, guys, snow melting a little bit is a possibility. I'm live outside the library where it's 25 degrees. Iowa City has seen an intense couple of weeks with heavy snow and consistent below zero temperatures. But Mother Nature might be giving us a little break from the extreme winter conditions. Yesterday started to warm up in the morning and gradually continued throughout the day and during the night. Temperatures reached a high of 22 degrees last night and are still continuing to rise throughout the day today. We can expect to get out of the freezing zone and to a high of 35 degrees today. I'll have more on the forecast ahead in a bit, but for now, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Hannah. And Unimpaired, a non-alcoholic bar in Iowa City, has permanently closed. We now have DITV's Claire Green live outside their location with an update.
Yeah, Ashley, I'm here at Unimpaired Dry Bar, which cater to people looking to enjoy Iowa City nightlife, such as live music, food, and mixed drinks, but all without alcohol. After reaching out, the Daily Iowa did not receive any comments from the previous owner, but Johnson County Public Health says the bar's license has expired and they have not paid their lease. Unimpaired has locations in the Quad Cities and Cedar Rapids, which are also now closed. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Claire. And Sam Helmick is an Iowa City Public Library Community Access Services Coordinator, and they believe in free access to books as a right for everyone.
We really value free people reading freely and invest in those resources. And we collaborate with our community colleges, our universities, but also our K through 12 institutions to make sure that from life to adulthood and then into adulthood, you become a lifelong learner.
However, Senate File 496 threatened to restrict that access. This bill would have removed 68 books from Iowa City Community School District shelves, along with banned education on gender identity and sexual orientation from kindergarten to 6th grade. But on December 29th, a federal judge issued a pause on these aspects of the bill. In an email to parents, Iowa City Community School District Superintendent Matt Degner explained that the district would pause removing these books in libraries and lift the restrictions on teaching LGBTQ topics in elementary schools. And now we're going to send it back out to Hannah, who's still live outside. Hannah, you said it should get a little bit warmer today, but is it going to stay warm for long?
Yes, Ashley, the week ahead is staying in the mid-30s. However, expect to see some precipitation early on in the week. Tomorrow and Wednesday will be in the mid-30s with rain, and the rest of the week into the weekend will remain at around 36 degrees with cloudy skies. The temperatures will drop a little at night, below freezing to the low 30s. So stay warm, Hawkeyes, and enjoy the well-deserved break from the snowfall and dangerous wind chill. I'll send it back to Ashley and AJ in the studio.
Thanks, Hannah. And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has suspended his 2024 presidential campaign after struggling to compete in the polls ahead of New Hampshire's primary tomorrow. DITV's Jace Bertrand now has more on the sudden change in the Republican race.
On Sunday, DeSantis officially suspended his campaign and endorsed Trump for the Republican nomination.
Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden.
This comes after months of traded insults between the two Republicans, with DeSantis basing much of his campaign on opposing a second term for Trump.
I don't even talk about DeSantis. Whatever happened to him? Well, no, a poll just came out. DeSantis is at 4. What happened to this guy? One of the great self-destructions I think I've ever witnessed.
With DeSantis' exit, Nikki Haley stands as the only major opposition to Trump's nomination as the Republican candidate for the presidency. Jace Bertrand, DITV.
And with this recent development, it's shaking things up a bit for the primary, which again takes place tomorrow in New Hampshire. DITV's Jordan Tovar has more on this upcoming race.
Ahead of Tuesday's primary, recent poll numbers suggest that former President Donald Trump still has a commanding lead over the rest of the candidates still running.
But we'll finish it off. This could end it.
In a poll done by the University of New Hampshire and CNN, Donald Trump leads Nikki Haley by a margin of 51 to 39%.
I mean, we want to do better than we did in Iowa. That's my personal goal.
While caucuses and primaries both help parties determine which candidate will be selected as their presidential representative, there are some key differences between the two. Primaries work similarly to a general election, with voters casting secret ballots with the winner receiving all the delegates. Caucuses, however, are more community-focused. At these meetings, people try to persuade undecided voters to join their groupings. While the candidate with the most votes receives a large number of delegates, those behind them can also gain delegates from their votes. The New Hampshire primary begins at midnight tomorrow. We'll have more on the results on Wednesday morning. From the Daily Iowa Newsroom, Jordan Tovar, DITV.
Now, with some changes in the presidential race, I also heard that there might be some changes coming to the Iowa football team coming next fall.
Yeah, we've already seen some changes in the coaching staff, but now it looks like there's going to be a change up front in the offensive line. Caden Proctor announced he will return to his home state of Iowa after spending his true freshman year at Alabama. Proctor initially verbally committed to Iowa in December of 2022, but signed with the Crimson Tide for the 23 season. The 6'7", 360-pound tackle entered the transfer portal following Alabama's Rose Bowl loss and Coach Nick Saban's retirement. Proctor is a former 5-star recruit coming out of high school and found his place as a starting left tackle on the offensive line for Bama and kept that position for all 14 games this season. He was awarded the SEC Freshman of the Week for his play against Auburn and was selected to the All-SEC freshman team by conference coaches. Hawkeye Nation is ready to have Proctor back in the black and gold next season. And in a potential preview of the women's basketball Big Ten championship game, the number 2 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes travel to Columbus to take on the 18th ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Iowa controlled most of the game with efficient shooting and stout defense, leading for more than a half hour and by 12 points early in the fourth. However, the Buckeyes stormed back, going on an 8-0 run in the middle of the fourth and held on to a tie to send the game into overtime, which is where Iowa went cold, going 2 for 8 from the field, while Ohio State went 5 for 6. The Buckeyes pull off the upset and break Iowa's 15-game win streak with a 100-92 victory. Caitlin Clark dropped 45, but the Buckeyes starting 5 combined for 88 points. The Hawks will return home looking to bounce back against Nebraska on Saturday. And staying on the hardwood, the Iowa men's basketball team took on the second-ranked Purdue Boilermakers on Saturday. DITV sports reporter Sarah Galla has more on Iowa's rematch with the Boilermakers.
After putting up a good fight, the Iowa Hawkeyes couldn't take down Zach Edey and the rest of the Purdue Boilermakers. When it comes to the bottom line, Iowa's rebounding was the cause to their downfall. Iowa was out-rebounded 50-24 and had only 4 offensive rebounds.
Helping rebound, I think we all could have did a little bit more on that end. But I mean, that's the only reason we lost. We was getting them missed shots. So, you know, they had, I think, 19 offensive rebounds. So, I mean, that tells you why we lost. That tells you how we lost the game right there.
A lot of times we were fighting and just didn't get bounces, and sometimes that's the way it goes. But we probably need to be more locked in, more physical, and something we'll just continue to improve on.
In addition to rebounds, they had more assists, blocks, and points in the paint. Clearly, Zach Edey was the difference in the game as he had 30 points and 18 rebounds.
Try to help the bigs out with Zach Edey. I tried to do the best I could, but like I said, 7'5", 300 pounds. It's hard to move him.
The lone bright spot for the Hawkeyes was Tony Perkins, who had 24 points on 10 of 19 shooting.
It's kind of what we expect from him, and it's what he expects from himself. Really impressed.
Perk didn't have a good game against us at our place, and he was fabulous tonight. And I told those guys that. I said, hey, man, the kid's got a lot of pride. He's a good player.
Now the Hawkeyes are looking to bounce back this upcoming Wednesday against Maryland. From Carver Hawkeye Arena, I'm Sarah Gala, DITV Sports.
Thanks, Sarah. We'll see if the Hawks can bounce back against Maryland on Wednesday. But the Iowa women's wrestling team made their long-awaited return to Carver Hawkeye this weekend. And DITV's David Consuelos has more on the home finale to a historic season.
The women's wrestling team hosted their final dual meet of the season, welcoming Life University and Coach Clarissa Chun's alma mater, Missouri Valley.
So much gratitude for Missouri Valley College on so many levels, and to be able to have an opportunity to have a dual meet against them here in Carver made sense to me.
And the Hawkeyes made quick work of Missouri Valley, sweeping them 42-0 after winning each match, with Emily Gonzalez opening up with a pin against Sage Beltran. Ella Schmidt took down NAIA 5th-ranked Serenity De La Garza via tech fall, and Bellamere made her Carver Hawkeye debut with a tech fall over Lise Falsetti.
The women's wrestling team had not been back in Carver since last November, and with it being the last home duels of the season, the Hawkeye faithful made sure to bring the energy.
I could just feel the momentum of the match kind of move, and then just slipping into that pin, it was really great. Last chance in Carver this season, and sometimes I get too serious and forget to enjoy the moment, and so I went into this match with a different mindset, just kind of have fun, let it fly, and I guess I did that.
The Hawkeyes then took on the top-ranked NAIA Life University Eagles. The final score of the duel was 35-6, and notable wins include Sterling Diaz with a tech fall over 10th-ranked Devin Gomez. Another key win was Lily Luft avenging her loss to Zaina McBride at the Soldier Salute by pinning her at 136. And the Hawkeye faithful brought the energy to honor the inaugural season and thank the seniors.
And after an incredible inaugural season for these Hawkeyes, there is one thing players, coaches, and fans can agree on. Women's wrestling is only going up from here. From Carver Hawkeye Arena, David Consuelos, DITV Sports.
Thanks, David. Looked like an electric atmosphere, but Iowa City's busy weekend didn't end there. The men's wrestling team hosted a meet on Saturday at Carver Hawkeye Arena, and while the men's basketball team couldn't get it done against Purdue, the men's wrestling team made up for it with a swift 34-6 victory Saturday night. Second-ranked Matt Ramos of Purdue opened the night, stunning top-ranked Drake Ayala with a 4-1 decision win. Iowa would win 8 of the final 9 matches, however, which included 4 tech falls. The Hawkeyes will hit the road for another Big Ten duel against Illinois on Friday. And this past weekend, the Iowa track and field teams hosted the 2-day Larry Wazorek Invitational. Senior Paige Mackey sprinted and jumped her way to the women's 60-meter hurdle record with a flashy time of 8 seconds flat. The women's 4x4 team also featured Maggie in another first-place finish, where Iowa crowned heptathlon champion sophomore Sam Capaldo, dominating his field, and senior Tiana Tobias also was able to come away with a pentathlon win, 4,049 points, which was good for third on the all-time Iowa performance list. In total, the Hawks were able to take 18 first-place finishes, with multiple personal bests being set throughout the weekend.
That's incredible. And something I'm really excited about personally, Subway is introducing new versions of some classics and some new sides today in their signature footlong format. You'll see here soon, Subway will be offering footlong chocolate chip cookies, Cinnabon churros, and soft pretzels from Auntie Anne's. I love those. These sweet and savory options will all be available starting today. And thank you so much for tuning in to DITV News and listening to KRUI 89.7 FM.
Be sure to head over to the Daily Iowan website for all your latest news between Monday and Friday.
For DITV News, I'm Ashley Wheel.
And I'm AJ Reister. Have a marvelous Monday.